The ocean below is a deep, endless blue, its surface flecked with the silver glint of morning sunlight. Far to the east, the horizon shimmers as if the very air trembles with what is to come. High above, the roar of a single Allison V1 710 engine cuts through the stillness, its pitch rising and falling as Captain James Howard's P-51 Mustang, Ding How, slices through the sky. The radio chatter in his ears is urgent, clipped, a chorus of stressed voices fighting to remain calm under mounting pressure. Somewhere ahead, 64 Japanese aircraft fighters and bombers are bearing down on a formation of Allied B-29 Superfortresses. It is late in the war, yet Japan's skies are still fiercely defended, and today the odds are beyond daunting. Howard knows the numbers, he knows the math, 1 against 64. And still, he pushes the throttle forward. The Superfortresses, flying in tight, high-altitude formation, are massive silver phantoms against the pale sky. Their fore-right are 3350 engines, each throwing long contrails that merge into a ghostly smear. Through his canopy, Howard can see them glinting great airborne fortresses, heavy with fuel and bombs, moving steadily toward their target. But specks are emerging in the distance, growing larger with every heartbeat. Mitsubishi Kit 61, Tony's, Kawasaki Ki-44 Tahos, nimble, fast, and deadly fighters built to hunt down bombers. Behind them, A6M0s. Howard's eyes narrow as he counts shapes, realizes just how many are diving in. "Mustangs, hold them off the forts," a voice commands over the net. But Howard realizes at once his squadron is scattered, most too far to intercept in time. He banks sharply, feeling the Mustang's responsive frame tilt under his hands. The sun flashes across his windscreen, momentarily blinding him, but he keeps his gaze locked on the oncoming swarm. "This is Howard," he says into the mic, voice calm but edged with steel. "I'm going in. No hesitation, no waiting for backup." Ahead, the Japanese planes fan out, their attack pattern disciplined, fighters climbing to altitude for the kill while others sweep low and wide to flank. The bombers are still miles from safety. If the swarm gets through in force, the losses will be catastrophic. A flash of tracer fire streaks past the canopy, and Howard reacts instantly, yanking the stick, rolling into the attack. The first burst from his 6.50 caliber Brownings tears into the lead fighter's wing root, a puff of smoke blooming from the metal before it peels away in flames. The recoil judders through the stick, a reminder of the raw force packed into the P-51's frame. He passes within yards of the debris, shards clanging faintly against the fuselage. Howard pulls the nose up sharply, firing another controlled burst. A Ki-44 erupts in a brief orange fireball, breaking the perfect symmetry of the enemy's wave. The others scatter briefly, regroup, then come at him from both sides. He throws Ding How into a climbing turn, using the Mustang's superior high-speed climb rate to gain an edge. A voice crackles on the radio, disbelief seeping through the static. That one Mustang's in the middle of them all. The sky becomes a dizzying panorama of blurred wings, flashing sunlight, and streams of tracer fire. He feels the vibration of near misses, the thump of rounds slamming into his fuselage, but he keeps moving, always moving, never giving them a fixed target. Inside the cockpit, the air smells faintly of heated oil and cordite. Sweat beads on his forehead, sliding down past the edge of his oxygen mask. The stick moves under subtle, precise pressure from his gloved hands. Below, the Pacific gleams cold and metallic. Above, the sky is a shifting battlefield of cloud and fire. His eyes flick constantly, altimeter, airspeed, enemy positions. Every decision is instinct layered over years of training. He doesn't think about odds anymore. There's only the next turn, the next burst, the next heartbeat. A Ki-61 locks onto his tail, its nose guns winking. He pushes the Mustang into a violent brake turn, feeling his body slam against the harness under crushing forces. The enemy fighter flashes past, overshooting. Howard reverses the turn instantly, raking the Tony with another burst. The Japanese aircraft shudders, spins downward in a smoke-trailing spiral. He doesn't watch it hit the sea. Another formation is closing on the fortresses, and he dives straight into their path, ripping into the lead plane, breaking the attack before it can begin. "Mustang, you're all alone up there," a bomber crewman calls over the radio, voice a mixture of awe and urgency. "We see you, and God, you're keeping them off us." Howard says nothing. There is no time for talk. A Zero slices in from above, guns flaring. Howard pulls up into a head-on pass, the two planes flashing past each other, so close he feels the shudder of their slipstreams colliding. The Zero's wingtip smokes from his fire. He rolls and dives after it, chasing until it plunges into the cloud layer. Minute by minute, the fight grinds on. The 64 planes are not all gone, many still circle, dive, and climb again, but the tight, synchronized fury of their attack is fraying. The Superfortresses continue their steady march toward target, damage minimal thanks to the lone shadow darting and weaving among the enemy. In the Mustang's cockpit, Howard feels the ammunition counters creeping toward zero. Each pass, each kill, each burst eats away at his last reserves. Finally, after another harrowing dive, the hammer falls on empty chambers. He checks, no, 50 cal rounds left. Not a single one. The rational choice is to break off, climb away, and leave the fight. But Howard does not break off. He throws "Ding How!" straight back into the knot of enemy fighters, diving and climbing, rolling close enough to force them off their attack runs, making himself a threat even without ammunition. The Japanese pilots, perhaps unsure if he's reloaded or simply unnerved by his relentless aggression, peel away each time he charges. Down below, a fortress tail gunner watches, later describing the sight as a lone Mustang playing tag with the whole Japanese Air Force. Finally, the enemy begins to break away, their window of attack closing as the bombers near their bombing point. One by one, the fighters turn east, dwindling into the distance until the sky ahead is empty again except for the great silver wings of the B-29s. Howard's breathing is hard now, each inhalation rasping in the mask. His gloved fingers ache from the constant tension on the stick. He levels out beside the formation, giving a brief salute through the canopy glass. A voice comes back over the bomber channel, low and sincere. "Thanks, Mustang. We'd have been finished without you." As the formation presses on, the adrenaline begins to ebb, replaced by the slow realization of what has just happened. One pilot, outnumbered 64-1, held off an entire attack long enough to save a bomber force. Back on the ground, the debriefing will be a blur of reports and handshakes, of someone counting kills and someone else talking about the Medal of Honor that will follow. But in the quiet of the cockpit, with the Pacific stretching infinite beneath him and the scent of gunpowder still in the air, Howard reflects not on medals but on the faces of the crews who are alive because he refused to turn away. The war will go on. There will be other missions, other days, other impossible odds. But this one moment, a single Mustang in the vast sky, holding the line against the tidal wave, will linger like contrails against the sun. And in the grand ledger of history, it will stand as proof of what resolve, skill, and courage can achieve when the numbers say it can't be done.